Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly on a Memorial Day weekend. Please keep in mind the reason we have this holiday is not for barbecues and stuff, although it is a ton of fun and everybody gets together. It is for our military personnel that is Give the Ultimate. I want to thank all of the military people, former, past, and present, for everything they do for us. They make it possible for us to catch fish, get together and do shows, and have general easy life, as I would call it. Thank you for joining the show tonight. Along with J.R. Cochran, I'm Lyle Stokes, and we have a great guest tonight. Greg Ollila is going to join us. We're going to talk about fishing for giant channel cats and some Navionics stuff. So you guys that have any questions about Navionics or their programs or anything like, get them ready. JR, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, going good.
Did you have an exciting weekend?
I did. Went to East Tennessee, met Paula Smith up there, fished with her on Watts Bar Lake, caught some catfish, made a video, working on a video now. Left there, went to Middle Tennessee, got up with Drew Rankin, which is a striper fisherman, fished with him, and then went kayak fishing in Middle Tennessee. So, yeah, I had a pretty good weekend.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I have been watching some YouTube videos this weekend, and I happened to catch on Facebook where our guest last weekend, Terry, was up on Mendota Lake, which is around where Greg's from. Greg fished at. They was knocking out some giant channel cat up there this weekend. Man, I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to go up there, you really need to run up there and catch some of them.
I'd love to do that because channel cats, pound for pound, they fight so hard.
Oh, they do. And
we don't have big ones around here.
Well, and that's pretty much all that's up there is big ones.
Yeah. Now, does that lake have blues as well?
No, not that far up there.
That makes sense why the channels would be so big.
I tell you what, for questions like that, let's get Greg on in here because he lives about an hour from Mendota, and he spent several days, I think 4 days he told me, up on the Red River of the North at Selkirk, Manitoba. And Greg, isn't what you told me you caught just shy of 4,000 pounds of channel cats in 4 days?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
That was by far the best fishing of our lives. I'll definitely be going back there. And we fished. When we caught the fish, we would record the weights with the weigh sling, and that's how we know how much we caught. We actually, the total was I don't see it now on here. It's just shy of 4,000 pounds, and there was 194 catfish, just me and him in the boat. And they got an awesome regulations. You're only allowed one rod, one hook per angler.
And no barbs.
No barbs. And you can't keep any catfish, which is just channel cats. You can't keep anything over 23.6 inches. And out of the 194 catfish that we caught, only 3 of them were smaller to put in a deep fryer.
Wow.
I'm telling you, these fish, they are mostly in the 20 to 29 pound range.
Oh, wow.
It was just awesome fishing. I highly recommend it. I'm going back. I'm going up there every other year. It's just the best fishing of my life.
JR, we need to make this happen one of these days.
That would be awesome, man. Could you imagine the video capabilities of catching 4,000 pounds of fish?
Greg, how many of them did you divide that trip up into? How many different videos?
33 videos. Just for that trip. And I tell you, that was outstanding.
My good friend Luke Hinges and them boys have been up there several times, and they've got some awesome videos where they have done this, put 3,000 or 4,000 pounds of fish in 3 or 4 days, and it's just a constant flurry where they just lay them out one right after the other. And I've been wanting to go for years, and I think it's time to plan a trip as soon as everybody heals up from all this COVID-19 stuff.
Yep. And we stopped at up there in North Dakota at Grand Forks at the Cabela's, and we bought suckers, big suckers. And of course, we couldn't bring them over the line new or live. We iced them in a ice chest, and we used cut suckers for bait. And it was great, I tell you.
Yeah,
we rented a camper right on the campground, right on the river in Selkirk Campground, and that was a good deal too.
Yeah, that's what you was telling me. Very reasonable, and you said it was clean and nice, and that sounds like a heck of a deal.
Yep.
So, Selkirk, really nice place.
The DNR, they check you at the boat ramp when you're coming out, and you're going in. They check you. They got good regulations there.
That's awesome.
I wish the United States would have regulations like that.
Well, they keep coming on with this stuff is they don't have the money to pay all of the employees that it takes to be able to check these regulations and stuff. Then quit buying up property and importing moose and stuff that we don't need to have accidents with on the highways anyhow, and take care of the fisheries. I understand how important hunting is to all these conservation agencies and how much money that they draw in off of that. But if you don't think there's a lot of money spent and people pays taxes on fishing equipment and cabins and boats and all the other stuff, you're badly mistaken. So wake up and take care of our fisheries as well as the hunting places, and a lot of us will be a lot more happy.
Yep. You know what's funny about that river? That river flows north.
Yeah.
It flows north into Lake Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
And Selkirk, where we stayed, is just south of Lake Winnipeg. And it's just funny how that flows north.
I know.
The first time that we was up in North Dakota fishing the Red River, I couldn't believe that it run south to north because I had never seen that before.
Yeah.
All I had ever seen was north to south.
I know.
And I was thinking, what in the? I'm doing something wrong. I'm not. My mind's not clear. I'm not on it. But it wasn't me at all. It actually was running.
There's one.
north.
It's not the entire river, but a section of river runs south to north here in North Carolina somewhere. I can't remember where. I don't want to say it's the Broad River.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know there was any others that did. I thought that was the only one. That's just nuts. But then again, you guys have got that where the water runs in and out there every morning and night. Coastal water. And we don't have that.
Tidal,
yeah, we don't have no tidal water here, do we, Greg?
No.
I'm glad.
But that is a trip of a lifetime. I highly recommend that. And staying at that camper right there, I mean, we could see the launch, and it was just great.
Greg, you also fish Mendota Lake and Cherokee up in there. You're not very far from there, are you?
Nope, I'm about an hour, 40 minutes away from there.
Now, JR, Cherokee, which drains into Mendota, is a shallow lake. It's only, I think the deepest spot of that we found was 6 foot, and that wasn't for very long.
Right.
There may be some deeper areas, but not too many. Most of it's 2, 3, 4 foot. And that's where my 29-pound channel cat come out of.
Yeah.
So,
there's a river, the Yahara River, comes from the north. It flows into Lake Cherokee, and then Mendota, and then 3 more lakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, do the other 3 lakes, I didn't know about them. Do they have the great channel cat fishing in them also?
Yeah. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
The river in North Carolina that I was referring to is the New River.
The New River. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, if I ever get out there, I want to see that too.
Greg, what was the significance in the 23.6 inches limit on the channel cat?
Well, it comes out that in inches. They use centimeters or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But Yeah, 23.6. And out of the 194 we caught, only 3 were that small or
Amazing.
smaller, you know.
Yep.
And we had planned on eating some fish up there, you know.
Yeah.
I brought a deep fryer and everything else. Well, needless to say, we had to go into town and buy hamburgers and stuff, you know. But it was awesome. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
If anybody wants to see, you know, the catches, I have my YouTube channel, Catfish Stalker Outdoors with Captain Greg Ollila. I got 33 videos of us catching them monsters. There's a dam up there. It's called the Lockport Dam. We fished that by there, but you could fish anywhere in that river and you're going to catch them.
Awesome.
And on the Navionics, I marked a couple spots, you know, good spots. So if anybody has Navionics, they can check them fishing hot spots out that I marked on Navionics, you know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But another thing that a lot of people don't know, you are a licensed captain, so to guide
Yep.
people.
Yep, I got my captain's license 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I haven't guided, but I'm hoping that me and the wife here move down to Tennessee on the Tennessee River, and someday I might decide to do some guiding. But I mainly took the course just for the safety factor, and I was interested, and I took it online, and it was a tough course. I tell you, I got to say that it was tough. I learned a lot of things, but most of the things you learn, we don't use them as catfishermen. You know, it's mainly, you know, for out in the coastal.
Right.
You know, the different lights on boats, what color lights these mean. And I mean, everybody on the big rivers like Mississippi and Ohio and stuff like that, we know about the red and green channel buoys, you know, what they all mean, you know.
Starboard and port.
Yeah. But I took the course. It was tough, but I finished it. I almost gave up once because you gotta remember a lot of stuff, and it's stuff that you forget not long after. It's kind of an elimination process or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting that you took the time to do it. I did not know if you was guiding or not. So
yeah, I haven't guided. My boat set up. I could guide. I got a 2015 Crestliner Intruder 2000. That's the 2000 Catfish edition.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 20-foot boat, but I haven't done any guiding at all.
Well, I mean, I've heard people tell me that test that you have to take is harder than college courses.
I went through C school, and it's out of Massachusetts, I believe it was. It was all online, but when it came to the tests, I had to go and actually in town here. There's a place, I don't know, like a moderator or whatever. They watch you, and you can't bring in any materials, and you got to take. There's 4 parts, and they're difficult, but if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, I find that very interesting, and glad that you got that done. You never know. All these days, you might want to do some. You might want to move to Selkirk. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, tell us about your hookup with Navionics.
Okay, I've been with Navionics about 6 years now. I started out as field staff, and then it's been 3 years now. I've been on their a Marine Specialist Pro staff, and they got there's like 29 of us throughout Canada and the United States. And the boss 3 years ago, he says, you know, they got bass guys, they got walleye guys, they got crappie guys. They didn't have no catfish guys. So I was already on their field staff, and they asked me if I wanted the job, and I said absolutely. And so that's how I got in as a, they call it a marine specialist, pro staff, and we go to we meet. We haven't met this year, but we meet, and all of us, and we learn more, because they're always coming out with new stuff, new features. Like the Navionics boating app just came out with this shading feature, which is awesome.
Shading. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, okay. Navionics has got the charts, the cards that you can. Here, I'll see if I can show you this.
Yep.
SD card.
Yeah, you can put in your plotter, and they also got the mobile app. And the mobile app, this is a tip that I'm going to show you. Here's the mobile app on my iPad, okay? And you can see I got it a RAM mount. And I mount this right next to my plotter on my console. And I'm using this iPad as my mapping. But I can also use it with the plotter. This is a backup system. But, the Navionics has got different selections for different charts, whatever you want. Some are, Navionics Plus is just their basic, all the way up to their Platinum Plus, which is their prime charts. But myself, I use Navionics Plus U.S. Canada card.
And that covers everything in the U.S. and Canada?
Yep. That's the card I use.
Well, damn, I've got two, and they don't cover very much.
You can get the region cards where there's sections like north, south, east,
That's
west.
what I have. I have east and south.
Right, and it's a little cheaper that way, but I fish Canada every other year, either walleyes or catfish. So I use that card the most.
I love it. I love the mobile app. I just sit in the bed and I just look at it, and I look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just pick spots and drop pins and drop markers. And
now, do you do that on your phone?
Absolutely, yeah. Yes. Okay, I've been doing it now since around 2012, 13. I've been on it for a while.
With Greg, with you doing that on an iPad, that looked pretty good size screen to me. I don't know how it is.
10-inch.
Well, see, that would be cheaper than buying another depth finder and run it on there if you don't get them wet and tear them up. And you could mount that like you have on a RAM mount.
Yeah.
You would only need your Helix 10 or 12 or whatever it is. And then you'd have that iPad's got to be a whole lot cheaper.
Lyle, you just took millions of dollars out of Lowrance and Hummingbird's pocket.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry about that. But
well, it's a tip I share, but I also use my charts on the plotter, the Navionics charts. But with the mobile app, you can do more actually. There's shading feature. There's the color feature for the different ranges you want. There's weather. You can check the weather. There's just a lot of features on that mobile app. And now they changed it where for $14.99 a year subscription, it's good for all devices, both ISO, Apple, or Android, iPad, or tablet. You pay one fee, and you can get it all for all your devices. Years ago, you had to pay separate for different devices. And if you wanted the Canada US app, that's $21.99 a year. And right now, you can get a free 2-week trial for the Navionics app. Just go on their website, and there's a scanning code. You can scan it, and you get 2-week free trial. I highly recommend this app. I mean, like Junior just said, I playing with that every day, checking
Greg,
out spots,
what SD card do you recommend?
Okay, for me, like I use the Navionics Plus US Canada, but you can get Hot Maps Platinum. Now, Hot Maps Platinum is like above that, where you can get the sonar shading, the shading feature. Yep.
Platinum.
Yep. Now you can get the shading feature. You can get satellite imaging, 3D view. They all have different features, each type of card. There's 3 cards: Hot Maps Platinum, Navionics Plus, and Platinum Plus. Now, Platinum Plus is coastal, and
I have the Navionics Platinum.
Okay,
and I'm telling you now, you get a graph, like you get a low rent, say, for example, a Gen 2, and say it has inland maps. The inland maps doesn't compare to the Navionics card that you can buy and stick in there. The level of detail is just awesome.
It's unbelievable.
I'm glad you brought that up. So the difference between Navionics and other mapping is you can update these cards. I update my cards every time I go out fishing. Now, let's say I'm going to Memphis to fish that tournament. I'll put it in my laptop, and I'll update that whole area, 200-mile area. And so you get the latest information, the best data, because there's updates, like 5,000 updates a day throughout the world on these cards.
Wow.
And so same with the mobile app. When you go on that mobile app, go to menu and you hit update maps. That's the first thing you do. Make sure you're updated. And as for going back to that question, JR, it all depends what you want. You can get, if you're just going to fish like a certain area of the country, you could go with Navionics Plus region, or you could, if you want the satellite imagery and the shading, then just pay $50 more for Hot Maps Platinum region card. And it's north, south, east. You go on the website, on the Navionics website, you create a free account. And on that website is a section called Chart Viewer. It's free. You go on there and you can open that up and zoom in on what body of water you're interested in fishing. And whatever's on that chart view will be on the app and on your card, as long as you update it. As long as you keep them cards and that updated, that's what will appear when you open it up. So it all depends. Like I say, for me, I fish tournaments all over the country, and the Navionics Plus I use.
No. Awesome. Great information. And how often do you need to? How often do you need to upgrade your stuff?
Okay, well, update. If you want to update, you can do that as many times a year during your subscription period. The cards and the app have a 1-year subscription. In other words, if you bought a card today, a card, the first thing you do is you register it on the website. Then you update it. And then you get 1 free year worth of free updates. And when that year comes up, you can renew at 50%. In other words, if the card costs you $200, you could renew it for $100. Or if it's $150, $75, And same with the app. It's good for 1 year, and then you renew it for another year of $14.99. I mean, for $14.99, come on, that is well worth it. and it shows you the app when you're on the Mississippi. It'll show you the wing dams, the dikes,
Wow.
so you don't run into them.
I
Spend more than
something-
$14.99 on coffee.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you something that impresses me most about the Navionics card, and they're not 100% because they move, is the buoy markers out in the channels.
Yep, they'll move.
If they don't move on you, those will tell you exactly where they're at. And at night, there's nothing better.
Right.
And even if they do move, they'll still be in the general area.
Yeah.
But I love that feature, and I use that a lot when we fish at night on the rivers and stuff. But I've always had Navionics. I don't have an iPad, but it looks like one may be in my future.
Yeah, make sure you get an iPad that's GPS capability.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, it won't work for now. Like for instance, on this iPad, if I find a hazard like a rock just below the water, I can mark that exactly, the latitude, longitude, and mark that with community edits, and everybody will get that then.
Yep. I use it on my phone, and it doesn't have to be an iPad. It could be a tablet.
It could be a tablet.
And Android tablet.
It could be your iPhone, your Android phone, any of those devices.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Will the Navionics card do more in a Helix than in the older 900 series models?
Okay, that's a good question. I got a compatibility list here. This is a compatibility list that it'll show you each unit, each Humminbird unit, each Lowrance unit, Simrad, Raymarine, and it'll tell you what card that will work in your unit. Okay, and so all they have to do is go on the Navionics website and check the compatibility list, and that'll tell you what card to get for that particular plotter.
That's great. Now I've had the Helix units. My card would work in either one of them because it's got the little one inside the big one, and you pull out the mini.
Yep.
For the older units, you use the bigger cards, and then the newer units use the smaller one. Both of the cards that I have, the East and the South, you can pull out the little one and put it in the newer models, or put it back in the holder and use it in the older models, because I still use my 1198 and 998.
Yep, exactly. Now here's another thing a lot of guys don't do. I get a lot of questions. They put their card in their plotter and they don't get any depths and any contour. Like for a Humminbird, I got a Helix 10 Mega. On Humminbird units, you got to go to the main screen, the menu screen. The main menu, you arrow over to the charts, and the first section down, you got to select fish and chips. And if you're on the left side of slot, you select fish and chips left, and then you'll get the 1 foot contours. If you don't do that, same with Lowrance. They might not say fish and chips, but they might have Navionics or something. You got to select that to get the 1 foot contours, so you can see the ledges, with the drop offs, the deep holes, all that.
Well, that's what I want.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I want all that. Don't you, JR?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. Yes.
If it's available, I want it, and I want it to work.
Yes.
You got to select fish and chips, and a lot of guys don't do that, and then they're just getting a basic map.
Is that on the older units too, or just the newer ones?
I believe it's on the older units too.
Okay.
Just check
You see
that
these guys. These guys, they buy these new boats. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars on all this equipment, and you go out there and with them, and they don't even have maps.
Right.
I'm like, you have to have maps.
You gotta have it.
That's one of the most important tools of fishing, in my opinion.
It is.
mapping, you know.
Absolutely.
Because fishing is a sport in which the only sport in which you cannot see your opponent. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need to at least be able to see what the playing field looks like.
I
Yeah.
agree, 100%. I sure do. And you know, right now is a prime time because a lot of the waters in our area are pretty high. Some of the wing dikes are underneath the water. You only got to go over one of them that you don't see, and it's going to ruin your day, or maybe a month or two. And if you don't have real good insurance, it might unload several dollars out of your hip pocket because a wing dike with rocks the size of your boat is very devastating on lower units.
yeah,
And all the big rivers have wing dikes, well, at least in our area, to divert into the main current to keep it washed away so the barges and stuff can go down through there. And if the water's up and those dikes are underwater and you're not familiar with them, you're in trouble.
yeah,
And these cards all show them wing dikes and they're extremely accurate. The accuracy on these are amazing to me. And
yeah,
It is.
that technology didn't come free and it didn't just come along overnight. A lot of companies worked on that for a lot of years. But like I say, the buoy markers, if they don't get moved or you get in behind them after they've replaced them where they need to be on the river, it's amazing how close to being dead on they are.
yeah.
I wish there
Just
was a
like,
little more information for the river system. Like, on the even on the Navionics card, once you get up into the river, there's no contours. It's just all blue. And I wish there was.
In the real shallow stuff, JR?
Yeah, well, yeah, typically, and on our reservoirs, once you get up into the river section, the contours and everything goes away, and it's just the blue, indicating that it's shallow water and it's just a
okay,
river.
what you can do there, JR, is what I do every time I go out fishing. I got a blank SD card. Okay, nothing on it, a blank SD card. I put it in one of my slots on my Hummingbird. Then I go to the screen snapshot page, and it'll first thing down it'll say start recording, and I'll hit that arrow over to start recording. Fish all day where it's not marked on that river.
Uh-huh.
Okay, before you trailer your boat, you go back to that screenshot page and you stop recording. You take that card out and you go to the Navionics website and you upload that sonar logs to the website, and within a week later, everything that you logged, that you recorded, will show up on your card chart.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Is that awesome?
you gotta
I
take.
am so going to do that.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. There's a lake, a local lake. No, they never made a map for it. There's zero maps out there for this
Right.
lake. It's not even on Navionics. If I were to do that, what you just said for that
Yep.
lake, would that work there?
Absolutely. And then
I'm definitely doing
yeah,
that.
and what you got to do now, after you upload that information, it takes about 5 to 7 days, and then you take your chart, your card, your Navionics card, and you update that card, and then it'll show up on your card.
Nice.
See?
That's awesome.
And I did that here by me. There's the Rock River by Janesville, Wisconsin. It wasn't charted at all. It was just, like you say, blue. I took one full day and I charted 35 miles of that river back and forth. You can go, like a snake does, and just keep, it'll record the contours.
Wow.
But I did 35 miles of that.
So it's recording it with your sonar.
Yep, it's recording the bottom. As long as you keep bottom.
Right.
I mean, you can go 10 mile an hour. If you're going like 30 or 40, you know how you won't keep the bottom.
So make sure you're keeping the bottom whenever you're doing this.
As long as you keep bottom. Anyways, I did 30. I went back and forth 3 times. 35 mile an hour, 35 mile stretch, and now it's mapped awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. Michael Pence says, looks like $14.99 is for U.S. only. I assume he's talking about an update. Is that correct?
That's for the Navionics mobile app.
Oh, for the mobile app. Okay.
For the USA.
Good. Yeah.
If you wanted USA and Canada, that's $21.99.
Okay.
But again, get the 2-week free trial offer. And then once you're done, you'll see you're going to want it.
Yeah.
And then you can buy the year subscription.
Awesome. Palmetto Cat says, Ann says the guy in your background looks like he's sticking something in your ear. Oh, you're funny, Ann. You're funny. Funny.
Oh, man, I needed that. Thank you.
I'll put it back on something else next time. Oh, that was good. I thought you guys get. Hey, one of the guys that is in our chat tonight works. He lives out there close to you, I think, JR. He works all the time. He very rarely makes it in our chat tonight. I want to give him a shout out. Is Mike Chavez, Fishing and Cooking with Mike Chavez. Mike, we're glad that you made it to the show tonight. I know it's a struggle for you because you work a lot of nights and stuff. But
what's up, Mike? Yeah, he's a little ways from me, Lyle. He's probably 5 or 6 hours. I think he fishes the James River a lot. He fishes. I mean, he lives near it, I believe.
That's closer to you than me.
That's a lot closer then. But I don't know if he's close enough to be considered my neck of the woods.
Yeah, probably not. I thought you all was a little closer than that, but yeah, that's quite a ways. But yeah, he's a great.
Unfortunately,
guy.
I'm stuck with Dieter Melhorn.
I haven't seen Dieter in here tonight, but if he's in here, I'm sure he'll have a comment. Which map do I want to pick on my next Garmin, since I believe they get theirs from Navionics?
Yes, Garmin owns Navionics now. They have been now for 3 years. And they have their own maps, their own cards. And you go on the Navionics website and you, under products, just arrow over to Garmin charts. A lot of them Garmin plotters have the built-in Navionics already. So sometimes you don't have to buy no charts. But they do have charts for better features available for Garmin plotters, you know.
Awesome.
Hey, quick question, Greg. It's kind of unrelated to Navionics, but what made you move to Tennessee? Well, I don't want to ask that. Was you moving to Tennessee, was it fishing related?
Yes, that and other. Okay. I've lived up here in Wisconsin all my life. I'm just tired of all the snow. We got no blue cats up here, nowhere. And
well, you are going to be in heaven.
Yeah, I'm a tournament angler fisherman. I've been fishing tournaments for 5 years, and I love blue cat fishing. And I want to get down into Tennessee. Number one,
you're moving to the Magic Kingdom, my friend.
Yeah, number one, they don't have state income tax, and I'm retired, so I'll save some money there.
That's awesome.
And me and my wife just want to go somewhere with no snow. There's at least not as much.
Yeah.
And I'll be closer to most of the tournaments that I fish, you know. I fished the Mississippi River Monsters in Memphis. I fish Monsters on the Ohio in Owensboro, Kentucky. And I fished the Alton Classic. This will be the second year. Hopefully that's going on. And I fish Twisted Cat Outdoors with Alex and Aggie. And I fished Cabela's King Cat series, but I haven't fished them. Fished them recently, you know.
That's a heck of a life. Retired and just fishes tournaments, and works for Navionics and just fishes tournaments and just it's awesome.
Nothing wrong with that, I'll tell you.
Matter of fact, I was set to go to that monster cat quest in Carolina. You know that one that they canceled it this year? Navionics was going to fly me there and have a booth there for them. And they wouldn't let me fish it, though. I have a booth there at the captain's meeting and that. That's on my bucket list. I want to go there and fish that waters. What's the name of that water there? I forgot now already.
Now, what did you say the name of the tournament was?
It's that Monster Cat Quest in South Carolina.
Probably Santee Cooper.
Yeah, Santee Cooper.
Okay.
How can I forget
Or as
that?
a lot of non-native people say, they'll say Santee Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, us
Anyways,
locals, we call it Santee Cooper.
I was all booked to go there, and I couldn't fish it, but Navionics was going to promote the product, and they canceled out, so I didn't get to go. But I want to go down there and try that fishing down there. And
It's a different world. You got Santee Cooper. You're looking at it's 2 lakes joined by a canal, and each lake is around 70, 80,000 acres, and there are no creeks. It's just a giant bowl, and you definitely don't want to be out there when a storm comes up because it's like the ocean.
Wow. That sounds like that lake in Illinois down there. Cabela's had a tournament on a lake in southern Illinois. What the heck was the name of that lake?
Southern Illinois?
Yeah, southern
Wren
Illinois.
Lake?
No,
Wasn't Ren?
Carlisle.
Oh, Carlisle? That's another one.
And we got caught in a storm on that lake, me and my partner on a tournament. I thought we were going to sink. I really did. Them 5-foot waves came in real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And man, we were in trouble.
Yep.
But we got out of it.
That's good.
That is good. You got any more questions for Greg, JR?
No.
I thought there'd be a bunch of them in chat tonight.
I have one.
Okay.
Has anyone ever told you, Greg, that you kind of sound like Jesse Ventura a little bit?
Yeah, my voice changed about 5 years ago. I had surgery on my throat, and I had what do you call that? Breathing out of here.
I don't know.
You know where you got to breathe out of the tube.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, my voice spot got damaged, and so ever since then I got a different voice. I used to have a completely different voice.
It sounds pretty cool. I like it. I think you could be like a very cool announcer.
I think you have more volume now than you did when I first got to know you.
Yeah. I had surgery. I had heart surgery, and my throat got damaged with that air tube.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyways, everything's good now. I'm in good health, and I love fishing tournaments. I love talking catfish. Talk catfish. I want to get a shout out to Brad Durek up there in North Dakota. He's a guide on the Red River.
Mm-hmm.
And before I took that trip, he told me a lot about what to do and what to expect. He's a great guy. I'm sure you guys know him.
Mm-hmm. Brad
Durek?
Yep, I do.
Yep. I just wanted to give him a shout out. He got a guide service there.
He has fished that area from Selkirk. That's quite a ways from Selkirk to where he lives up in Grand Forks, but he's fished it all over the years, and he knows a lot of people in Canada in that area. At one time, he had a really good friend up there, but he guides down around the Grand Forks area and does a very good job for a lot of people up there.
Yeah, he caught a 32 or 34 pound channel cat up there.
Oh, wow, that's a giant.
They are just giants.
Well, and right out of that dam, and for I don't know how far down the current is ripping down through there below Selkirk Dam, but below that dam, the current's pretty strong, so you get quite a battle, and they fight hard anyhow.
Oh, yeah.
those channels, when they get in that current, they know how to use current just like a blue does.
Oh yeah, they fight big time. And I caught so many fish, I was tired of fishing. And I just did the video work when my son was catching them. I mean, I got tired of catching fish. That's unbelievable to say.
Yeah.
But they would just bite like crazy. And you were going to get 20-pounder just about every time, you know.
Yeah. There's a cool comment I had forgot about until he mentioned that. Richard Ward says he met me and Brad for the first time ever at Lake Mendota when we was up there. I'm trying to think, Richard, do you remember how many years ago that was? I'm thinking 7 or 8 years ago at least. It may have been longer than that. It's been quite a while. We haven't been up there long. Man, that Mendota and Cherokee, that's just too much fun up there. It's just a blast, a great fishery, and it's loaded with fish. I mean, loaded. And then people, you know, they don't care that you're throwing them back because they don't eat them up there.
Right.
So it makes it work out.
Right now, they're biting real good on
8 at least. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Richard. I'd forgot about that. But you can kind of understand. I meet a lot of people throughout the years, but then when you brought that up, it come to mind instantly. But I had forgot about that. Anyone ever heard of the Pirates of Lake Mendota? No, I have not.
No. There's one tournament on that lake. I think it's the M2M tournament. They have a tournament on that Lake Mendota once a year.
Huh.
But that's the only one I know of. Catfish.
That you know, it's not a great big place to have a huge tournament on, but it's got great fishing. And I'm telling you, if you like to catch giant channel cats, that's got to be on your bucket list. In fact, we caught a lot more fish and a lot bigger fish on Mendota and Cherokee than we did on the Red River.
Oh yeah, it's similar.
I love fishing the river, and we caught great fish up there. It was a 2-day tournament. When we was up there, the first day we couldn't get an under. All we got was overfish. The second day we couldn't get an over. All we got was unders. So we didn't have a great tournament. We caught a ton of fish, and I had an absolute blast. And Terry Stone says the D2D tournament.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
But we went to Mendota, and like I had said a week or two ago, Cindy caught 3 or 4 fish in 30 minutes, and they was all over 20 pounds. And that's just unreal to catch channel cat like that consistently and constantly. And in shallow water where it's 2 and 3 foot, and they get up on their back tail and walk across there with that line and then hook in their mouth like a bass does. Well, there ain't no place for them to go. They're in that shallow water getting ready to spawn, and I mean they'll dance up there, and a 10-pound channel cat dancing across the water on his tail is a sight to behold. If you think them 3, 4, 5-pound bass looks cool, you wait till that channel cat gets up there doing that, and you've really seen a sight then.
Tailwalkers.
Yep, that's awesome. You just can't imagine catfish doing that until you actually see it happen. It's awesome. Brenner Flatten from Montana was there that year. He sure was. Yes, sir. He sure was. Question for Greg. How do you recommend someone get started in tournament fishing if you have a smaller boat? Great question.
Well, there's smaller rivers you could fish. You know, these bigger rivers like the Missouri, the Mississippi, and Ohio, Tennessee, I fished all them rivers. You got to respect these rivers with them currents, you know. And it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But there are smaller tournaments on smaller rivers. I would start out there. I don't know what he's got for a boat, but I've seen guys with 16 footers fishing these tournaments with no problem.
Yep.
You just got to know what you're doing
and be careful.
And safety is the most important thing.
And respect.
And respect. And
Greg?
one thing, yeah.
Oh, what is what's your home lake going to be once you move to Tennessee?
Well, my wife wants to move by Kentucky Lake in that area.
Okay.
Right on the water. So that's fine with me as long as I'm on that Tennessee. I can, anything that's Tennessee River, I'm close to that.
Mm-hmm.
But she's looking for a house on the Tennessee Lake right now. So I'm hoping to make a move. I've been saying that for a couple of years, but
yeah. You retired. You got plenty of time now.
Yeah. Now this virus thing, kind of slowing stuff down again now.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
One of the things, back on the deal with the smaller boat, I would recommend tournaments like Flatties on the Fox and some of those smaller tournaments to get started in, to get your feet wet, because I've fished the Mississippi River a lot of times in a 16-foot John boat with a 40-horse motor on it. Never thought a thing about it until we got bigger boats and realized how much safer an 18 or a 20 was with a 100-horse on it, because you can get in trouble so quick, and if the current's way up, you can go. But there's no reason that you can't fish the big rivers with them. You just have to give that river the respect it deserves. Pay attention to what you're doing, and be careful. But
always have your bow in the current.
Always.
Yeah.
I would if I was going to start tournaments fishing, especially at night with a small boat, I would go for the smaller rivers and the smaller tournaments, get my feet wet, make sure it's what I want to do before I got too involved with it. But I will warn you, and I think both these guys will agree with me, once you start doing tournaments, if you got any competitiveness to you at all, you're going to want to get bigger, better quality stuff, and you're going to be hooked on it just like the rest of us. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. He wants to hear JR sing.
What you want me to sing? Who said that?
Kevin from Palmetto Cats. Sonny said, I used to fish in Missouri with a 12-foot Alumacraft with a 10-horse motor, but you're a lot safer now, aren't you, Sonny?
Yeah, when I fished that Alton Classic, the first annual Alton Classic this last year, me and my partner went up the Missouri River, and that was flowing big time. And we had a hard time anchoring, but we did anchor. But you got to have a knife ready up there by that anchor rope, because if a big log comes down and catches you, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
You'd be cutting that rope.
You better have a knife handy.
Yeah.
You know, we had a 16-foot John boat with a small motor on it, but we never took it really out too much. Truman Lake, it had a 35-horse on it. Mainly got it to duck hunt out of. My son and I was, the year that Truman Lake set records, it was like a river down through there, and we was fishing the river portion of it, and the blues was on fire. We was catching them, and Tony was out of high school and out of the military. You know how kids are; they're the toughest things in the world. And we had an anchor to get hung up in the bend of the river where we were fishing. And a big log come down through there. Before we knew it, it wasn't that big, but it was like a big limb. Got into the front of the boat, and it was pushing the front of the boat down. I told Tony, I said, cut the rope. And he wouldn't do it. He was going to get that anchor up. I said, just cut the rope. And I was in the back of the boat. Finally, I just run up there and cut it because he was going to get that anchor. He's a man. He was going to cut that. Wasn't going to cut that rope. I said, you got to cut the rope, because if you don't, we're going in.
Cut the rope.
Yeah, just cut the rope, dude. We got more anchors. If not, I'll go get one. It's silly, because he just knew he'd get that anchor out there. Well, in those days, I think it was a 5/8 braided rope, and it's not going to give. and whatever it's hung up on, it's probably not going.
5/8. Yeah, 5/8 is huge.
Yeah,
The
and
biggest I'll use is 1/2 inch.
yeah, that's what I've went to now. But you can't. You just cut the rope and call it a day. I mean,
Yeah.
cut your losses. It's just silly to try to do that.
You know, another feature I forgot to tell you about the mobile app on Navionics. It's got a dock-to-dock feature where, let's say you go to the Memphis tournament in Mud Island, you put a pin there, and then where you're fishing 30, 40 miles away, you can put a pin, and in the settings on that app, you can configure your boat, you know, how big your boat is, how many horsepower, what's the draft, what's the cruising speed. That way, when you're fishing, you know, like on these tournaments, you got to be back at a certain time. And sometimes when you're that far away, you don't know how long it'll take you to get back to that launch. The auto dock to dock auto charting will tell you how long it's going to take you from point A to point B, driving your boat. That's another good feature. And they also have the water depth changes. If the river's up or down, you can set that in your app, and it will correspond on your contours on the map, you know.
Nice.
So that's another good feature.
I
tell you, you know, like I fished at Memphis every year since they've had it. And I started fishing at it since Catfish Weekly. When I started watching Catfish Weekly, the day they started, and Lyle well, at that time it was Lyle and Chuck Davison.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you guys got me pumped up till I started fishing at Memphis, you know, the first year they came out. And anyways, yeah, them whirlpools around them wing dams.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a smaller boat, you got to be careful.
You do.
You get in one of them whirlpools, it'll sling you right out of the boat.
Yes, it will.
It doesn't take much to dip the bow on a small boat.
Oh,
no, it doesn't. Here's is a tip that Sonny Parker and Muskrat Adventures both put out here. It's something I've preached for years and years. Keep a good sharp knife on the front of the boat and the back of the boat. And if your anchor gets hung up, no matter which end it gets hung up on, or if it trades ends on you, you've always got a knife, because even if you throw in a cast net or you're pulling an anchor or throwing an anchor out and it gets hung up in your rope and you're in your foot or something, you can cut that rope and get somebody loose. It's just common sense to have a sharp knife on the front and the back of the boat. That's a great tip, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Let's see.
Yeah, them night tournaments, you know, like Memphis, Lyle, you know, we shove off at what they start launching at 3 a.m. or something.
Right.
And you're going to your spot in the dark. And them wing dams, if you don't know where they're at,
you're in trouble.
You're going to run into one.
You get in trouble so fast. Here's another comment that Kevin made, is that 3/8 too small to use for anchor rope. Actually, no. The reason I like the bigger diameter ones is because it's easier on my hands.
Easier on your hands, but that's about the only pro.
Yeah, it is.
Everything else, 3/8 is better. But
3/8
as far as
if
you're going to be pulling anchor all day, that the 1/2 inch is definitely going to be a little easier on you.
Yep, it is. And I don't know how I got that 5/8. In fact, I've got a 5/8 rope on an anchor right here, right now. But there's no need for anything that big that I've ever seen. Doc had one when we fished Memphis. We was going to do a video to show everybody how the anchor ball works. Got the anchor stuck, one of those never snags. That was the second one that I had, and it got hung.
5/8. It's just going to take up so much room.
Yeah, it hung up on a revetment. We couldn't get it out, and it was pulling in front of that monster cat in the water, trying to get that out. We finally cut Doc's rope, let the anchor go, got the anchor ball back, and that ended our video making for the day because we had to redo the anchor. And he had plenty of rope. It's a good dang thing because I could not believe that 300 horse Evinrude wouldn't break something loose, but it wasn't breaking that 5/8 rope, and it
No,
sure
sir.
wasn't tearing that anchor loose, and it never did pull that anchor
Well,
out of there.
even if you had the horsepower, it would have broken. It would have probably ripped the transom off the boat before it would have
That's
broke
what I
a
was
5/8.
thinking. Well, we was going down the front. I said we ain't going to keep doing it. That's just silly. Ray Smith, thank you so much. We appreciate it very much. Don't think an anchor ball will use a 3/8. Mine is 5/8. That may be right, Mike. I'm not sure. I remember that's what Doc had on his, but I never thought of that. I bet the pulley is made for 5/8 rope. That's probably why he had that on there. But
Guys, make sure you check out Greg's YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Greg, tell them
Catfish
again
Stalker.
where they can find you on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yep, I have a YouTube channel, Catfish Stalker Outdoors, with Captain Greg Ollila. I also got a Facebook page with the same name. And if anybody ever has questions about any Navionics products or questions, you can contact me direct on Facebook Messenger, and I'll help you out anytime.
That's awesome. Greg, it's been a blast having you on here. We shared a lot of good information, not only about Navionics, but Lake Mendota, Cherokee, and Selkirk, Manitoba. Great channel cat areas. I know you like to, I love channel cat fishing, but I like to catch them all, blues and flatheads. But channel cats always have a special place, especially channel cat tournaments, because the separation between first place and 10th place might be 3 or 4 ounces in the weigh-in line, and that makes for a fun deal. And I love catching the channel cats. I like catching the big ones too, but it's all fun if you're safe and have a good time. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. JR, great show tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on the show with us, Greg.
Thank you for the invite, guys.
Love Navionics.
We'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for all your help with everything. Everybody have a safe trip back to work this week. We'll see you next Monday night on Catfish Weekly.
Thank you.